Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jeff here from Daydreamers again. In this video, I'll be going over a Replo masterclass. It's going to be a complete beginner-friendly tutorial on how to get started and how to just get the basics of Replo down. This video is going to show you the basics of Replo, which is the best Shopify page builder. Just going over the foundations and get you started using this page builder here. So I'm Jeff. I have built hundreds of pages for 6 to 8, 9-figure Shopify brands, upskill multiple of them past the 6-7-figure mark. In this video, I just want to show you how to kind of just change how you think about building your pages. Like I said, over the past few years, my team and I built over 400 pages for 6 to 8-figure brands and help scale brands from 50K a month to multiple 6 figures per month. And the tool that we consistently have used to do this is Replo. What most people don't realize is your pages are what's killing your growth and scale. It's not your ads, not your product, it's not your creatives. It's typically your offer and your pages. So in this 2-part masterclass video I'm going to give you everything that you need to build those high converting pages that you know you need to. And it's for people who have zero experience to ultimately completely get you guys launching pages that outperform everything that you guys have done up to this point. So in this part 1, we're going to cover why landing pages are important, why Replo is and it beats every other solution out there, how to think about your page structure, how to navigate the Replo interface. This is going to be the key here in this video. And then how to use Replo's native template library to build a lot faster. Part 2 will go more on the technical side of things of just building pages from start to finish, responsive designs, product templates, dynamic data, publishing, A/B testing, and all that. But by the end of these 2 videos, you're going to be able to build pages faster than most agencies, definitely than ever before for you guys. And then also to understand like why certain pages convert and why others don't. Moving on to like the main reason why we're here is Replo and why it matters. And just to give you a quick intro on what Replo is a no-code page builder for Shopify, which lets you build custom landing pages, product pages, even collection pages, home pages, basically any page you want without writing a single line of code, right? And this is really important because most of us, me included, really don't know how to code, and it's not necessary, especially this day and age. In 2026, we don't need to code to develop pages anymore, right? And you also might be thinking like, why do I need this if I already have a Shopify theme? And I'm going to get into that. But just for quick context, to answer that question, it's Replo sits on top of your existing theme. This is a common question I get from a lot of founders or brand operators is when you use Replo, you're maintaining and keeping your existing theme. You're not changing any of that. You're simply building pages on top of your theme. It doesn't slow down your site. It doesn't slow down your page speed or anything like that. It's simply just adding pages within your theme editor. So if you go into like your started pages section of your theme or of your Shopify, you see all those different pages. It's just going to be like your domain / pages and then the name of the URL. And as simple as that, you're not changing anything within your Shopify, right? Because the old way of building custom pages look like something like this, where you hire a developer, they charge you thousands of dollars per page. It takes multiple weeks, sometimes even months to get that page live. And when you want to make a change, even something as simple as changing the copy, the headline, or even the image, you have to rely on them. And which is insane because when you're running ads, you need to move fast. The brands that are winning are iterating their pages and funnels every day, every week. So you need to be able to have control and ownership over that, right? So with Replo, you can build a complete page in a few hours, sometimes even like minutes when you know what you're doing. So to give you a real example, this is a brand called Ramp Health that we worked with in the past. They used the basic Dawn theme. I'm sure most of you guys are aware of this. The conversion rate was sitting at 2.5, most of the time under 2%. And we built them a custom page with Replo, right? We optimized their product images, improved their offer structure, and within a few weeks, their conversion rate jumped to over 4%. That's over a 60% increase in conversion rate, same traffic, same ad spend, just a better page. And we didn't really need to bring on like a custom coder or a developer or anything like that. We use Replo for this. So this page you see right here was built in Replo. So you can see a lot of, and again, this is a really complicated page. So you don't need to build complex pages like this, but this is just to show you a quick example of using Replo to replace a product page here, like the one from the Dawn theme, to have more flexibility, more customization, more functionalities that you might need, right? Here's a link to try Replo. You can try for free. You don't need to pay to try it. You can build pages, even have preview links, and just kind of start for free. You don't need to pay for anything. You just need to pay when you want to publish the page live. But I'm just throwing this out there if you want to get started with Replo. So again, why Replo beats custom development for 90% of e-com brands, especially ones that are trying to test landing pages. Number one is speed. Like I said, custom dev takes many weeks, sometimes even months, and that's you're already playing a losing game at that point if you're relying on a developer. So with Replo, you're able to build pages within few hours, sometimes even under an hour once you already have like a foundation set up. Secondly, the cost. You don't need to pay thousands to build pages. You don't need to, again, rely on that dev, pay that dev. Replo costs $100 a month. I think it's actually 119. I'll change that just for more specificity. But with that, you're able to pay or pay that to then build unlimited amount of pages for you guys. And then another thing is just testing. Replo has a built-in A/B testing platform that you can test different headlines, images, offers without relying and touching code. So all that to say, you have more autonomy, you have more functionality, you have more flexibility, and you're able just to move faster and better with that. So when you want to use Replo, it's when you want to build landing pages specifically, even product pages. So when you're testing new offers, when you have bundles, promotions, anything like that, they need custom pages, and you can do so with Replo. You can typically use your theme editor for your collection pages, your blogs, standard pages like the about us or contact. You can keep your theme editor. That's perfectly fine. But it's primarily for pages you're driving traffic to, just for the sake of having more customization, functionalities, flexibility, all of that. Replo is usually the go-to. So let's actually get started on how you install and set up Replo. Like I said, use this link right here to get started with it. It's going to take you to your Shopify, and you can set up there. Or you can search Replo in your Shopify app store. So this is a quick gift just to show you. Search it up in the app store, pull that up, and then just install, and then it'll take you to a screen. You just have to install that. That's pretty simple, right? Again, Replo has a free trial where you can build unlimited pages. You can preview everything. You can test all the features. The only thing you can't do is publish, right? You need a paid plan to make your page live. But my recommendation is just to start by just getting your feet wet and getting started, building a few pages during your free trial, and then just upgrade to publish when you're ready to go live. So let's actually get into Replo itself. Before I even show you the interface and get into it, I need to kind of teach you and show you how you want to think about your page structure, because this is the foundation that everything else kind of flows down from. So most people just jump into Replo and they start playing around with it, and then it becomes overly complicated and overwhelming. And that's what I'm trying to avoid in this video, is to help make things a little more manageable and easy to understand, right? So every page in Replo, and when you're using page builders like this even includes page builders like Webflow. It starts with the page itself, right? The overall canvas. And then within the pages, there's different sections within the page, right? These are like your major blocks of your page. So these are like the chapters of the book, and each landing page or each book has multiple chapters, right? So we have like the hero section, we have like the benefits section, the social proof, the FAQ, all that. Each section takes up the full width of the page, and there's multiple sections stacked up within the page, right? Then we have within the sections, we have containers. So these are structural boxes or blocks within the section, and containers hold your content and specific elements within it. Containers can be arranged horizontally or vertically. Sections within a page are all stacked vertically from top to bottom, right? Containers can be like vertically laid, or horizontal. I'm going to get into this in a bit, so if this is confusing, just bear with me. And then within the containers, we have individual elements. So these are things like your text blocks, your images, your buttons, icons, stuff like that. Elements make up containers, containers make up sections, and sections make up pages. All right. And yeah, this is just more information there. So let's get actually into the Replo interface. I'm going to just go through everything from top to bottom, just to kind of help you break everything down. Hey, real quick, I appreciate you sticking around to this part of the video. If you have a Shopify brand and you're looking to invest into your brand to grow your brand and want us to help you build better pages to do so, click the link below to book a call with me and talk to me directly. All right, appreciate it. Let's get back into the video. So this is where, if you can bear with me, I'm going to be rambling and kind of ranting just from everything that I just want to show you with everything when it comes to Replo. So when you hop into your editor, you're going to be hit with a blank page. So we could start with a blank page here just to kind of help you get started. So this is typically what you're going to see. All right. You're going to see the desktop view. You're going to see the mobile view. You can also click this bullet point right here to go to tablet. All right. Also, to navigate the actual editor, like see how I'm zooming out and zooming in and shifting right and left, this is what you want to do. So if you're using a Mac, you want to hit the control button, control, and zoom up. I mean, scroll up. So command, scroll up, zooms in, holding command and scrolling down, zooms out. So command, scroll up, zooms in, command, scroll down, zooms out. I think for Windows, it might be control. Not really sure. I'll play around with it. It's the button right next to your spacebar, to the left of your spacebar. All right. Now to scroll left and right, you're going to use the shift button. So command is going to zoom in and out. Shift up is going to scroll left. Shift down, shift plus scrolling down is going to scroll right. Just play around with it and get comfortable kind of navigating that. All right. So that's like the basics for zooming in and out. All right. So now let's start with the basic interface here. So to start, let me show you the settings section here. So this is where you're gonna set like the name of the page. So this is just, I'll just type this like Replo University example. That's just the name of the page. So that's what you see inside your Replo editor, right? Replo University. Let me just save it just so you can see Replo University right there. All right. So then the URL is, you can name it whatever you like, university. And it's, again, like I said before, it's just gonna be your domain slash pages slash whatever the URL is. You also have the easy option to set a page as a home page, so you don't have to deal with any of the mess there. We'll get into those tactical things in the second video. This just to show you a basic overview of everything within the Replo editor. And then SEO settings, your page title and your description. It's best practice to set this. You can just use ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini just to help you write a page title description after you created your page. That's what we typically do. And then we have different things like show announcement bar or hide it. We can hide the header or the footer. We can show footer only, show header and footer. So this is relevant for when you're running a landing page and you want to hide specific elements. So you can hide both if you just want the contents of your page, or you can kind of show both. And then there's things for code that we'll leave to later. So going into actual components, I think that's the main thing. So the left sidebar, that's where all your elements and layers are. So we have the sections here. So you can go and view all the pre-built Replo templates, the section templates, right? The hero, features and benefits, comparison, social proof, all that. We have the components. So things like your text, images, containers, columns, all that type of stuff there. We have your layer. So this is within, so these are all the sections within the page. And I'll show you how to get that. These are your pages, as we saw before, and your assets and shop details. That's less relevant. The main things are going to be the page, layers, components, and sections. All right. So, and moving on to the right hand side, we have your actual the editor portion, the design portion of it, where you have different layouts, you have spacing, positioning, text, borders, backgrounds, all of that. I'm going to break all of that down and show you everything in just a second. Let me first just copy and paste this section just to show you and go over all of that. So as I was saying before, we have within a page, we have sections, right? So this hero section is a section, right? That is a section. Within the section, we have different components, right? So when I was saying before, we have the page, then the sections, and then the containers, the components within the section. So within this section, which is just named content, or let's just call it hero one, we have containers within that. So what I want to show you is how you want to structure containers within that section. So in this case right here, we have the content. This is the container that houses two columns. We have the left-hand column, which has the text, and we have the right column that has the image, right? And you can tell by these two containers within the content. So the reason why I got rid of the hero was just to make it easy for you to understand. So we have the content right here, which is the main container, and then we have two containers within that container there. So you want to think about it as those like Russian dolls that you might have seen when you were a kid or whatever, where it's like like a big Russian doll, and then you have smaller ones within it, and it stacks inside. It's nested within each of them. That's how you want to think about containers. Is within a container, there's a smaller container, and then smaller containers, and then different elements within that, right? So if you can see, we have two columns, right? I can even show you this way. We have two columns. We have the left-hand column and with the right-hand column. The left hand, like I said, has the text, as you can also see. So within that, we have multiple containers as well. So let me quickly just run through, and I know this is going to seem really, really confusing, and I'm trying my best to simplify it as best as possible. So if you can just bear with me and even like rewatch this over and over again. And the reason why I'm showing you it this way, I just want to show you a fully built out section to then show you how it all works. And I'm also gonna drop in one of the Replo sections to show you. This is a simpler section just to show that. So let me actually hide that one and show you the pre-made section from Replo. So just to break this one up, we have hero section C1, and then we have the content container and then the image container. Within the content, we have one, two, three, four elements slash containers, right? One for the social proof, the star rating. We have one for the headline, another for the sub headline, and then the button. You'll see within content, let's just write left box. Left box has four containers or elements within it, right? And it's laid vertically from top to bottom because within the layout portion, it's vertically directed. If you lay it horizontally, it's gonna stack horizontally from left to right, as you can see here, and it gets all screwed up. But the reason for that is because we selected it in a horizontal direction. And this is only because we have those four elements within that left box container. If you want to fix that, you just lay it vertically. All right. Let's say you wanted to bring this headline up first above the star rating. You simply just drag this over the star rating and text. Let's say you wanted to bring the header right above this right image. You would just bring it. Well, okay, first you would bring it over here. So now the reason why it's in the middle is because we have three different elements within that hero section. So this is where you would have to grab another container, get that. Let's just drag that there. And there's not one way of doing things. So, but this is just to show you. So you would need to grab another container to house both the headline and the image. That way you can stack this vertically and go from there. And I might be confusing you with this, so I don't want to mess anything up here with your getting used to and familiar with everything. But just to show you that you have a lot of flexibility with whatever you want to do with the layout. Again, this might be too early to show you this, but this is to show you a quick little overview there. So let's just get rid of everything that I did to get back to where we started. So again, we have the left box, we have the image there, and everything is laid out vertically within auto layout. Auto layout simply means whatever you're stacking, it's going to lay in whatever direction that the parent container has. So hero section C1 is the parent container that holds the left box and the image. Let's just say right image, left box. These are nested within the main parent, and this is laid out horizontally. If you want to stack it vertically, where the image stacks below the text, you would do so like this, right? Because these two are stacked top to bottom, and the parent container is vertically directed. That's why it stacks vertically. To fix this or to lay it left to right, you would go horizontal. Now, let's say you wanted to move the image on the left hand side and this text block on the right hand side. There's two ways to do this, okay? First, you want to start with the parent container here and simply just drag the right image above the left block. And that works because the parent container still has the auto layout horizontal direction. So it goes left to right. And we have the image first and then the text block, right? But let's say we wanted to, for example, on mobile, let's say, for example, for desktop, we want the text on the left, image on the right. But on mobile, we wanted the text below the image. That's where we will use something like this. Do something like order. Order is a useful tool that helps with responsiveness. So, for example, like I said, we have the image on the right, and we have the text on the left for desktop. But we wanted the for mobile the image to be on top, and that's why you see order is reversed because we reverse the order of the containers within that main hero section. I know I'm going over a lot, but I hope that this makes sense. And if you just go forward, it's gonna show you the text on top, image on bottom. Reverse just keeps the same structure So let's say you wanted the image on the right, the text on the left on desktop, you keep it like that. But if you wanted to have the image on top for mobile, that's when you reverse it. But let's say you wanted for both, you wanted the image on the left and also image on top, you would simply just manually set the image there. Or you can also just go reverse for both of them. So you set that for desktop and then you also set that for mobile, right? And Replo is great because you have so much flexibility. So let's say you wanted, this is dumb, but let's say you wanted your image on the left for desktop and image on top for mobile, but for tablet, you wanted the image on the right, that's when you'll just simply go forward for tablet, the order forward, right? And that just shows you how responsive you can get of just having extreme flexibility with the layout, right? So let's just move this all back to forward just to get back to where we were. Okay, so moving on to everything else within this overview of the editor section. Spacing, packed and spaced just simply means whatever the parent container, packed just will keep everything shrunk and tightly arranged. So packed is self-explanatory. It's packed. Space will space out and distribute the space of the entire parent container. So what's the parent container for these elements right here? Like the star rating, the headline, subheadline. The parent container is going to be the left box. It's not going to be the hero section. The hero section parent container is just for the entire text block and the image block. But for the text itself, the left box is going to be the parent container now, right? So that's where we saw when you laid it horizontally directed, all the elements within that is laid out horizontally, but we laid it vertically to stack. So when you space it out, it's going to distribute the space of the entire parent container, which is the left box. Let's just pack it. You'll notice that there's space between each of those elements right here. And that's because we have gap. We have a 16 pixel gap, and gap is applies for every section, every container, and it's simply for, and this 16 pixel, now it's 24 pixels, is for the left box. You know that it's for left box because it's highlighted. The left box is highlighted and we have a gap. So we can extend the gap or shrink it to 0, which is why you'll see no spacing, right? The reason why there's spacing there between the subheadline and the button is because the button has margins. Let's actually get rid of that because I actually prefer not to use margins ever. Margins is the top surrounding one. It actually makes it more confusing in my opinion. So I stick to padding only. I like to use padding and gaps. Again, there's no right way to do it, but this is what I prefer. So we have the left box and we're simply just adding a gap to have spacing within each element. And that's where you see the relevance and the value in having gaps, right? And this applies for everything else too. So here, if you want to add a gap of, let's say like 15, you can do so for mobile. All right. Now by this point, you might be wondering how to set up something like the star rating, because you'll notice that there's not just one element like the header, there's an entire container for all of this. So, you know how I was saying before that it's containers within containers within containers? The star rating text is a container of its own. So this is its own parent container. And this is where you have the star rating, which is just a component right here. Star rating, which has its own features where you can have their own ratings. Let's say that you want to do a 4 or 5 stars, it'll automatically update. You could even make it be like 4.5 and it'll show half stars. And you can also change the color as well. But this parent container has 3 elements. It has the star rating, it has a text for the 4.8, and then another text for the 88,888 plus customer reviews text. That's stuff that you can change directly in this text block section. So let's just try customer reviews just to show you that you can be super specific with that. You can also change the font, right? Whatever font you want. You can also upload your custom fonts. You could change the weight. The weight is just the font weight. So if you want to bold it, if you want to make it thin, you can do so if your font allows that. You also have the font size that you can play around with. And you also have the line height, color of the text, and the lines, like the letter spacing. So this is just a space between each letter. So let's just keep it like 0 pixel. This is standard. And then the tags. So, and the reason why, again, it's laid from left to right is because the star rating and text container is laid horizontally from left to right. That should cover the basics of the layout, the spacing gaps, and text blocks. There's of course other specific things that you might need. One thing just to always know that whatever you want to happen on a page It's possible. You just haven't figured it out yet. And a lot of this is going to be trial and error. So don't get frustrated. You always have the ability to ask Replo chat. This is something that I still always lean on and leverage, because Replo support is super helpful. They will help you answer whatever question you have, and those get you closer, one step closer to what you're looking to create. So definitely don't hesitate to rely on Replo support for questions you have. So that's the basics of the actual editor design and all that. We can get into like everything else, which I will get into, but I hope this makes sense for right now, of containers, the layout, spacing, and all of that. And real quick, let's say that you wanted, so in the parent container, we have a gap of 20 pixels, right? But let's say we wanted more spacing. So let's say, for example, we want to get rid of gap and we wanted spacing between right here, the star rating and your headline. What you can do is just add padding within the header element. So let's say we added 20 pixels on top and then 20 pixels on the bottom. That way you can manually select or set spacing between specific elements, right? And that you can also double that up with actual gaps. So we have the gap of 10 pixels, but we also have additional padding of 20 pixels there. So let's say we wanted to create this from scratch. This is exactly how you would do it. Start with the container. We have a container here, right? Then let's add in another container. So now we have container 5 and we have container 6. Let's duplicate that. Command D to just simply duplicate. And now let's throw in heading 1. Oops, heading 1. Let's get rid of that right there. So we have heading. Let's add in a text block. Let's add in button. All right. So now we have the headline, subheadline, and button. It looks kind of crazy, right? So what we're going to do is this. Let's first arrange this to the left, right? And then now let's also take your container 5, because you'll see the space, this padding around all the sides here. So let's take container 5 because that's a parent container. And let's simply just add padding there, and let's add padding on this top. One thing I like to do is just to have a max width for the parent container. Let's just say like 1200 pixels. Maybe let's just do 1300 pixels. This just keeps everything within a certain width. Because when you get to like bigger screen sizes, let's say you have like a MacBook Pro, it doesn't get stretched out. Because let's say we got rid of this, the max width, it's going to stretch out, and it's going to keep stretching out for regardless of how big the screen is. So let's say we have a screen of like 3000 pixels. The section will just keep stretching out further. And that kind of looks stupid, right? So we want to maintain that by having some sort of max width. And again, I like to keep it at 1300. And this is optional. You don't need to do that. But let's keep going, building from here. So we have the heading. Let's just get this, meet your everyday essentials. Let's take this right here, add it to the subheading. Now let's take the container 7. Let's add in a gap. Let's say 20 pixels. You'll see the button is a little smaller here. So we'll just use the max width again. Max width. Let's set this up, let's say 300 pixels. Boom, right? Now we have to get the star ratings here. So let's go into the components. Let's get stars and text. It's already a component, so it makes it super easy. And from there, you can change up. So let's just do like 4.8, 4.6 out of 5, rated 4.6 by 1,000 reviews. All right, so now we have all of that. Now within container 6, we can throw in an image. As simple as that. And then you'll see that we have a gap between the text block and the image. So we'll do so by grabbing the main parent container, right? That houses container 7, which is the left text block, and then container 6 that houses the image. You can even get rid of the container. We don't necessarily need that. We're going to actually set this image. So the reason why it's crazy right now is because we don't have an image set. So let's just take an image. Let's just do, I don't know, just take this one. So we're going to take container 5 and let's just add in, let's say 50 pixels. That way we have a gap between that, right? Oh, and real quick, the button is rounded. I'll show you how to do that right here. Button, scroll down to border, click add a border, remove the style. Let's go to radius and just add in like 30 pixels, for example. You could change it to however much you want. Let's say you want a slight round. Maybe let's do like 10 pixels for a slight rounded edge. Border is simply just, as it sounds, a border around the element. So for a button, let's say we wanted a dashed button or even a solid button. It's black, so we can't see it. But let's say we want a dash. Can we even see that? Yeah, so you see that there's like a dash border around it. Let's say we wanted a solid, and then let's say we wanted like a blue. Really hard to see, but let's say we want it to be a thick border. Let's do like 10 pixels. You can see something like that. Right? And that's how to set borders. Let's say you wanted this fat blue border just for the bottom. I don't know why you would want that, but let's say you did. You can click on this button right here to have more control, and you'll simply just go to the left, you would exit out, top, X that out, right, X that out, and you're left with the bottom color right there. That's a quick little thing for button. And then real quick, let's say you wanted to change the font size, just for tablet, just lower that. For mobile, you'll see that it's still left to right. So how do you do that? Remember, click on the parent container and lay it vertically down. That way it goes top to bottom, right? And let's say this gap is too much from the sides, we'll just lower the padding. Let's say the gap between the text and the image is too much, we'll just reduce the gap. As simple as that. So there we recreated this section right there. Say we wanted to stretch the button the entire width, we'll simply just take the button element right here and reduce the max width to 100%. There's no max width, so it's going to stretch out to the available container. And it's still not fully because we have the padding on the sides for container 5. If you want to get rid of that, you can, so it fills the entire span. But we typically like to have some sort of padding on the sides. The fact that you're still watching this video is super cool. I'm hoping that you're getting a lot of value out of it. Real quick, if you're looking to build better pages built by our team to help you grow and scale your Shopify brand, click the link below to book a call with me, and we'll see if we can help you out. All right, let's get back into the video. Let me see if I went over everything. We went over the elements, we went over the workspace, the right sidebar. Okay, cool. Yep, we also went over the container, the flex, text, image button. We also went over the layout and spacing, right? And units. Okay. So there's another way that we could have built this as far as the container 5. So you know how right now we have the two elements or the containers right here, container 7 and the image, and we have an auto layout. Let's say we wanted to add a third column. We can do so by just simply adding another element there. So we have the container 7, image. We also could have done it this way by adding columns. That's just another way to do so. And you just have more flexibility there. But let's say you just wanted 2. We get rid of this image. We it's the same layout, but now we're just using columns. Same thing. Auto layout, columns, same thing. All right, so now I think it'll be worth if I just show you how to put together a typical landing page. Start out with like a listicle landing page. These are like your 5 reasons why. And I think it'll be worth it or just valuable just to show you putting pages together. And I'll just continue to ramble and kind of talk through things as we go. So again, I think it's best to start out with these pre-made sections from the start just to kind of get the foot in the door. So let's just use this section right here, like the main listicle section. So let's just say like 5 reasons why Replo is the best Shopify page builder to scale your e-commerce brand. Right? So you have that section, you click on the element to type in whatever. Let's say we want to use Open Sans as the font. So from here I want to set the bold. I want the size to be 50 pixels. And I typically like to use percentages. It's just better responsiveness. So typically for headings, to use like anywhere from like 100% to like 120%. Okay. So also one pro tip is you can hold shift and highlight multiple elements within the same group. So if it's text, you can highlight both of them and change them all at the same time. So we change that. Let's change the line height to 120 as well. Let's change the size to 17. Let's also change the tag to heading 1. Let's say Jeffrey Park. Today is January 31st, 2026. Month is already over. That's crazy. And then we could change the image by just hitting image, selecting, and let's say that this is me right here, right? And let's bold my name right there. Jeffrey Park, the date, and then we have the image. Let's just use this image for now. For above the fold, we always want to do load the image eager. Anything below the fold, which is just the sections below the first section, will load it lazy load. But for this image, we're gonna eagerly load it. All right. So let's get rid of this section right here. So now we have this first hero section there. All right. Perfect. Now let's get some actual content there. So again, Replo makes it super easy. Let's say we want to use these little sections. They already have pre-built sections just to make it super, super easy. So this is what I would recommend just to get your feet wet and just to start. But without even doing that, let's just use, do they have any like feature sections? Let's use this one right here. Perfect. So then we'll do something like reason number 1. Replo is cool. All right. And then again, we can do the same thing that we did before. Just highlight all of that. And let's do open sans. And then we'll bold this, so on and so forth, right? And then from there, we can just Command D to duplicate sections and then create the rest. So it's best to first make sure that the styling, all the responsiveness is set first before you duplicate the sections. Because the whole point of duplicating is to be more efficient and save us time. But it doesn't make sense if you have to duplicate and then change all of them manually one by one, right? As far as like the font, the size, and all of that. So again, just set it first with the styling before you duplicate. Then maybe let's say the section after that we want to have some sort of like a social proof type of section where we have reviews. We do something like that. We take this one here, and you'll see here that we have the background is a gray color. And how they did that was by going to background and selecting the color there. We can get rid of it, so it's that beige color right here, the tan. But we can set a background color. Let's say we want it to be like white. We can do so like that. And just to show you how they set this up here, if this looks confusing, it's a simple 4-column grid with individual boxes within that. So let me actually show you and build that for you right now. So we'll start out with a container. We'll throw that there. Let's go to columns, go to 4. So now you see the 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, right? Under this container 12, let's create this entire section here. So what do they have first? First, we have the image. We have an image. We also have a star rating. We also have a text block, and then we have more text blocks. Let's just build this one out first. So we have first image here. Let me just steal this. And then we have the star rating. Let me just steal this color, right? So we have the image, the star rating, and the text block. So I'm simply just copying the specific element just to have it as close to the example. So you'll see here, this looks really ugly and it's not looking exactly like this because we have a border here. There's spacing, there's padding all around. Let me show you how to do that right now. So let's take the container 12 that we have. Let's first throw in some padding. And if you want to create padding all in the same time, just hold shift. Hold shift to, and then scroll up or down. Scroll up or down. Just play around with it to get that. So we have 20 padding all around. Now you can start seeing the space. So we also have that border, right? So let's go to container 12 again and hit border. Let's add a border. Let's just see it real quick. So now we have, it's a little different, right? Because this one is super dark. The border here is a little light and it's also surrounding. Let me show you how to do that. So we can go to here. There's 2 options. We can either reduce the opacity to like 21% or 20%, and it reduces the overall thickness or the opacity of the border. Or say if you don't want to do that, you can also reduce the width of the border to like say like 0.3. That should kind of do it too. But let's keep it at 1 and let's just reduce the opacity. Then we also have some corner rounding. So let's add a radius. Let's say 10 pixels. That way we have that border right there, right? So now we also have gaps, right? So what did we say before? Let's add in a gap. Let's highlight container 12. Let's throw in a gap of 15. That way we see we have some gap. Now let's also justify it to the left because everything is justified on the left-hand side. It's aligned on the left. Okay, great. Now you'll see that there's pretty even spacing between the star rating, the review, and then the name and the location. That's where we're going to need a container that houses these 2 elements specifically because the spacing here is less than the spacing between these 3 elements. So what we want to do is take this container here and let's throw in a container there. Container 16 will house these 2. So let's just take this Command C to copy and then Command V to paste. Now this is the first instance where we saw a wrap content. So this is where you're just going to simply fill available with. That way we can just go J and D. Let's make that bold. And then let's throw in another one. I'm just going to Command D it. Now when we do that, you'll see that it's laid horizontally. So this is where taking this and wrapping it, what wrap means is it's going to wrap around where the letters finish. So we show you wrap content and it's gonna wrap right where it ends. The reason why this one here is stretched out is because it's still on fill available with. If we wrapped it as well, it's going to wrap it and it's going to center because the parent container here is centered. If we move it to the left, even the top left, it's going to justify a line to the left-hand side. Let's say we wanted some spacing here. we'll just simply add in a gap. Boom. So we have the left and right, right? We have the JND on the left, JND on the right. So let's say we take the San Francisco CA, and let's make this regular. Maybe something like this. But instead of horizontal, we want it to be vertical, right? So we simply take the parent container that houses both of these elements and lay it vertically. Let's also reduce the gap to, let's say, 3 pixels. Now we have that, and that's exactly what it looks like here. And then from here, this is where I was saying that we could just duplicate those 4 and let's delete those other containers. But you'll notice that there needs to be spacing between those 4 columns. So we'll take the parent container that houses all 4 containers, and we're going to add a column gap. It works the same way as the gap that you saw earlier, right? So we'll just add a 20 pixel gap. So container 11 that houses those 4 containers are within columns. You can also do an auto layout as well. It's no different. It's the same exact thing, right? And as simple as that. Now you'll see a mobile. Let's actually get rid of this one right here. This is the one that we created, right? So you'll see mobile, it's still laid horizontally. You'll simply take the parent container 11 and then lay it vertically down. And that's where you'll see it laid vertically, top to bottom. And maybe you want to center this for mobile. You'll just do text align center. Maybe you want to reduce the padding here. I mean the gap here. We'll just do 20 pixels. Maybe you want to increase the height, the size of the font. You'll do so like that. So now we have the hero. We have a reason 1. We have social proof. Maybe let's say we want to add in reason 2 here. So we'll do something like that. Reason 2. Replo is super cool. And now we already have something like this. We already have pages, the full page kind of. So I hope that this is starting to kind of like make sense and it feels a little easier or less overwhelming. Again, you kind of just have to break things up into small components and small chunks to make it seem more feasible. If you look at it holistically or like all at once, it feels really chaotic and it feels confusing and it feels overwhelming. So that's where making it into different components, containers, sections, and breaking it all up will help you kind of to make it more manageable and make it easy to navigate and kind of build. Again, I really recommend using these sections here to help you start. I also have a full Replo library that I think could be useful as well. I'll leave it in the description for you to opt into it. This is where we have pre-made sections built out. So let's say you wanted to build like a landing page. Let's say we'll take this one, for example. I'll quickly show you how easy it is to build pages. Let me take this copy. We'll go to this one here. Or actually, let me just create a new page. Let's create like a hero section there. Let's say we want to use, let's get like a testimonial section. Let's make something like this. So it's all about copy and pasting. Basically what I'm showing you with all these pre-made sections that we have. Let's reduce the padding. Let's reduce the gap. We have a hero section, testimonial. Maybe let's say we need like a features and benefits type of situation. Say we want maybe something like this. And then let's say we want a buy box. And there's something I'm going to show you in the next video of how to set buy boxes. But I have pre-made sections just to kind of get this rolling. So we have like the hero section. We have like a social proof. Maybe we can even throw this one up here. So we have hero, some features, benefits, whatever, social proof. Then we have the buy box. Let's say we want like maybe like a quick FAQ. I think this one is good. You can see it's really easy to quickly put together sections. And then from here, of course, you could change the specific fonts, the text, the copy, the content for your brand, and set up the product buy box and all that. You just to quickly do so by hitting that bag symbol, which indicates a product buy box. Go to configure and then select your product, and it'll be dynamically set. Again, this is something I'm going to go over in the next video. This was simply just to give you a quick overview of Replo and kind of just how it works. I know this video was super like, this was me just kind of rambling and it ultimately felt like kind of hard to follow at times. If you have specific questions, drop it in the comments. I would love to create like some short videos of just answering all your guys' questions on like how to build certain things. If you have an example of like different pages that you've seen from other brands or references and specific sections that you want to build in Replo, just shoot it over in the comments and I will compile all of that and create a full video of building sections. But I hope this helps. Again, it's all about elements, containers, and sections. Even this one, it's a simple stars, text, and then image and text. They're all different containers within containers. Even this one right here, this one seems confusing, but it's the same thing. There's 2 columns, right? We have the image on the left and then the text on the right. And then they're just elements within containers. That's all that it is. Even this one, they're all images, text, container, image, text, container, and then so on and so forth. So don't overcomplicate this. I'll be going over more in the next video, like I said. If you want free Replo templates, just click this link right here and you'll get free access to the whole Replo library and then more resources as well. So I hope this helps. I hope this makes sense. Again, let me know if you have any questions, and the next video that I upload will get all tactical and help you set up the whole page from scratch. So I hope this helps.